And welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Falls. Very pleased to have the new chief of police right here in Houma, Travis Theriot. And Chief, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
I've seen you so many times on this news desk. Throughout the years, I've seen you while we were on the beat. I've seen you at news stores. I've seen you at press conferences. I've seen you through this transformation. And, you know, I just thought it would be nice for the viewing audience to sort of know a little bit about you coming up, because you've always been a grassroots kind of person, and your family is well known. When I saw your dad and your mom and your family and your wife and all that at Chief Coleman's lunch the other day, they were beaming. They were so proud. And I guess the first thing I'd like to sort of address is you were one of several that applied. We had a lot of qualified people for that job.
It was we had a lot of great candidates that applied. You know, I love all those guys. We're all friends. We all work great together. I think the town was very fortunate to have everybody that applied that did.
Yeah, no doubt. And like you said, it's always good to see the camaraderie, but when there's competition on the line, of course everybody wants to be the chief, let's be honest, but chiefs come and go, they serve their time, some of them want to retire, so somebody else will have the chance one day to be the chief, but now you're the chief, so congratulations.
Thank you.
What was it like when Mr. Dove made that call to you and said, Lieutenant Theriot, I guess it's soon to be Chief Theriot? Take me back to that.
You know when he called me, and pretty much gave me the news that he was going to pick me, it was pretty much, my heart sank. It's like everything you work for, everything you dreamed of, your dreams coming true, of everything you ever wanted since you started at the police department. And I've done nothing more at the department. I love everybody I work with, the town as a whole, and it's just the things that we can do moving forward. That's going to be nice. And it's just, it was exciting.
Yeah, and of course, that's a tough decision for the parish president, too, whenever they make that call. What I know about Chief Travis Theriot, and I want to make sure you and the public know this about it, great sense of humor, for one. Great cook, can make a mean jambalaya and do a lot of things. Works on generators. So I guess what I'm trying to say is blue collar to the core, but a lot of managerial skills to go with it. You've handled a lot of things with the police department. You did the public information duties on this desk many times. You've covered many investigations, chief of detectives. So you got to be pretty savvy in that realm. And I guess we'll start off, where did you get and I know who you're going to attribute it to, but I'll give you the chance to, the blue-collar mentality?
Oh, it's definitely has to go all the way back to when I was a child with my dad and my grandfather. One thing my dad instilled in me and my brother and my sister was, hard work. And always at the end of the day, knowing that you gave your best and able to look yourself in the mirror and know that you did the best job possible and made the decisions for the right reasons at the end of the day. As a child growing up, my deeply involved in the community in Bayou de Large, which I was proudly born and raised, absolutely love that community to this day. Mm-hmm. And my dad was involved in the church. He was involved with the Knights of Columbus. He was elected constable at an early age. My mom actually worked for the sheriff's department growing up. And I went to St. Gregory from kindergarten to 7th. And in the afternoons, rather than going home, I would actually go and sit in the courtrooms with my mom until she got off of work. I would sit in the back of the courtroom doing my homework until we went home in the afternoon. And it's just, everything has to go back to my parents, of how I was raised. And it was really great. My grandfather, we fished, we hunted, we did everything together. He taught me how to work on tractors. My dad taught me how to do carpentry work. Mm-hmm. Growing up was awesome. But, After I graduated from Terrebonne High School, I married my wife at the age of 19, and she's been my rock ever since.
Mhm.
You know,
I've seen you, and just to let you know, during these hurricanes, I forget what hurricane it was, but it might have been a conversation with the parish president. The generator went out at the Civic Center, and I don't know if it was Gordy or somebody saying, well, who's fixing it? And somebody said, it's fixed. Well, who fixed it? Travis Theriot and a group of guys got in there. I mean, is that an accurate story? What happened there?
no. So I was working for NRE Power Systems
Yeah,
when I first got out of school. So I still had friends in the industry, and to tackle something like what the Civic Center was, we reached out to them. And did I help? Yeah, I had to go back to my mechanical days to help get it done. But truly,
But you
the
were
community.
involved with
I was involved, but to claim fixing it, no, it was definitely the businessmen.
So
and
Brian Chess on that.
Brian Chess on
And they
that's
do a
right.
great job.
Yes,
too.
they do.
Yeah, we've been knowing them for a long time. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to talk some more. We've got 2 more segments coming with the police chief, the new police chief of Houma. We'll talk a little bit more about what are some of the things he loves about the department that don't need fixing. We know we've got a pretty good department, but every new chief has a few new ideas. I'm so used to calling you lieutenant all these years, and I'm just going to say, I know you still have the lieutenant badge because the new one's on order, okay? Well, total transparency. But, and what was Amy going through, your wife? Because you always talk about Amy, but what was happening when she found out my husband's going to be the police chief?
So I called her, and whenever I told her what was going on, and I just received the phone call, she pretty much started crying. She was so excited. But, family is really important to me, and, I can't say enough about my wife, Amy, and my 2 boys, Brandon and Cameron, and my youngest, Abby, who just got engaged, by the way. And, I was able to work and be part of the team at the police department and not worry about things at home because my wife was home taking care of the kids and making sure our household stayed together. And it was, just that security blanket of knowing that I had what I had to come home to is, is a lot of the reasons why I was able to devote so much to the police department through my career.
One thing about Chief that I know is that you were always loyal to your superiors. Since the day I met you, and I don't know, I was trying to recall the first day I met you. I don't know if it was on the beat. I don't know if it was through a mutual friend, Kyle Falk, who was on the police department. That all eludes me, but I do know one thing. Whoever was police chief at the time, you served that police chief.
Yes,
up until Chief Coleman, and you were totally loyal to that cause. The other thing I know for sure, we.
Right.
And whenever you come to a news story, even if you the one that broke the case, that was important.
Yeah, it's extremely important, because there's so many different aspects to law enforcement, but it's all one big team, and everybody working together is what makes a great agency. It doesn't come down to one man. It never does. It comes down to a group of people working together that make things great.
Yeah, because somebody's going to have a lead, which leads to somebody else thinking about that comment that they made, which leads to somebody else. And at the end of the day, as long as the job gets done,
That's right.
that's the important part. So through what I'll use the word humbleness, and there's also a competitiveness that you want to crack every case. And I've seen that in you too. You can get intense when it comes to, we have to find the culprit of this. Where'd you get that from?
It's pretty much what drives a person with that competitiveness really isn't a competitiveness so much as you want closure for that family. You you want to be able to provide them with the ability to move on and have answers as to what happened to their loved one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if it, depending on the case, if it's, you know, sexual predators or different things, you need, or the team needs to do what they have to make the community safe or to make the community feel safe. And that's really your driving force. Not so much the competitiveness as just the ability to allow people to move on, whether it's the ability to move on and feel safe or for closure.
The other thing I've always admired about our relationship with you on the desk here when you bring us news is you didn't care what their status was, if it was what it was. You came here, sort of told it like it is. It is what it is. So you have an ability just to stay on the railroad track and not go off, which is hard to do when you're a jovial guy with a good heart and everything. Sometimes that's probably the most difficult thing to do.
It is, but look, as long as you treat everyone the same, you have no issues.
Mm-hmm.
Your department will have no issues. You know, everyone is just treated equal.
So what are you going to bring? Have you addressed the entire police department together yet?
No, we haven't. We're going to evaluate. We have a few moves that have to be made just to accommodate some promotions because of retirements and things like that. But really, you know, moving on from this point forward, you know, it's not like Chief Coleman left us with a bunch of problems. It was a really great department, right. You know. Things are going good. And what changes, I'm not going to use the word changes, but we're going to use the word additions, you know, such as finding ways to reach out to the youth at a young age and maybe getting more involved with civic organizations, with different fundraisers and things like that, and trying to get out there and just work with the public a little more. And really just, I really want to see us get involved with the youth and see if we can't change a couple mindsets. If we can change one person, maybe all worth it.
Well, you used a perfect word, additions. Because whenever you take the place of somebody, like I said, you were here in the studio when I said it, when I was interviewing Chief Coleman, I said in 7.5 years, I've never had to talk about a scandal with Chief Coleman. And I would think through the administration of the new chief, it'll be much the same. You never know what your police officers or what situations they'll be in, but it was pretty clean. So I love the way you said additions. I see you passing behind my house occasionally, and I do know one time you told me, Martin, if you want to catch catfish, there was a Kool-Aid formula you had.
So that's an ancient recipe. If I was to release that on the air, my friends would not be too happy.
Well, you don't have to. You're the police chief.
But I absolutely love the outdoors in South Louisiana. I love fishing. If you find me with some downtime, you'll probably find me. If I'm not at home, you'll probably find me in a boat with a fishing pole in my hand, enjoying the area. But taking my boys out, and they do a little fishing every now and then, and my wife actually loves it too. And it's just all about family time.
Where did I meet you, Bowmanton? Was that at Kyle Foxdale? What was that again?
That was at Kyle's house when he was probably 3 years old at the time. Now he's 22 and works for the sheriff's department.
Time flies, huh?
Yeah.
But the organizations you're into, there's quite a few.
Oh, yeah. So I've been a member of the Knights of Columbus through St. Eloi since I was 18. Been volunteering at that festival. My parents actually started it since, I want to say now 30 years strong. Then I'm also part of Fuzzbait, and been doing that for the last, I think, 15 years. Crime Stoppers for the last, I think probably 11, 12 years now. And then the latest one is the First Responders of Terrebonne, which is a festival that we're going to be doing between the police department, sheriff's department, fire departments, Acadian Ambulance. That's going to be at the Civic Center in September. And that's going to be a fundraiser to raise money for first responders that are ill and various things. And just anything we can do
We
to help
have to
out.
say, I know I mentioned it earlier, but one of your biggest hobbies is cooking.
Yeah.
And you could cook. What don't you cook?
Well, I don't do too good with salads. I don't make no. Look, Cajun cooking. That's really what I love. I love cooking
Yeah.
in black iron pots and cooking for people.
Yeah.
You know, I just love helping out any way we can.
So let me ask you, moving forward back to police work. Chief Dana Coleman did a fantastic job. He was mainly focused on trying to do certain things, but what are you going to focus on? You said additions. Do we know one or two additions you would add?
So the additions would be really just programs that somehow we can reach out to the youth and getting involved, more involved in the schools and maybe reaching out to these kids at a younger age and, you know, just finding different ways to help out and change the narrative of where a lot of these kids are headed, you know. Mm-hmm. Try and change their minds, the ones that are headed down these rough roads that they're taking. But, you know, and a lot of that's easier said than done, you know. Will we be successful in it? I don't know, but unless we try, we'll never know. But it's to get with our officers and have them involved in it and have them buy into it and everybody take part in the plan moving forward to reach out to these kids at a younger age.
And let me ask you this, because with about a couple of minutes left, I think you make a good point. I think the kids today are much smarter than we were. They're so subjected to so many things that can change them, but they're growing up too fast. So I know a lot of times when we were kids and the police chief came in, we were, oh, there's the police chief. And, oh, there's the lieutenant. And now they're so smart, they sort of advance. They're almost talking to you like an adult. But it's important that they don't miss their childhood, too.
Right. You know, and they are growing up quick. And a lot of it's what they're exposed to. You know, look, social media, television, it's all different. You go back to what we watched when we were kids, they're probably not watching it today. They're not watching Andy Griffith Show or anything like that.
There's
you know,
no more Mayberry.
No, Mayberry's gone.
Mayberry's absolutely gone. But I really look forward to working with you and maybe helping out media-wise with some things, because I know your heart's in it. I know you love to do this. I know you're going to love the position and do it some justice. And I always love seeing a new person get new things kicked off. Everybody wants to sort of leave their legacy. So, but are we still going to see you doing some of the news stories up here too?
I'll be up here as much as I can, as much as possible.
Because I know you have other duties now.
Right. But I'll be up here.
All right. Chief, congratulations. Great job. And proud of you. You've earned it for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, the new chief of Houma, Travis Theriot, and we'll certainly keep you posted on his tenure as chief. We'll be back with more right here on Bayou Time.